costuming and light designing, classes that help you refine techniques so you'll be sure to find your true artistic voice. Whatever your abilities, we've got the best facilities maintained by local hillbillies who didn't have a choice. We're all gay, we're gay in all kinds of ways.
Some in the bedroom
and some cause of musical plays.
Welcome back, horror fans, cinephiles, and Giallo enthusiasts. This is Tanner Leeser, your host for all things Giallo, here on The King and Giallo, and I think it's time to do another unscripted, talking head movie review. This one, not a Giallo, but hey, let's talk about it anyway. That is 2014 musical slasher, I think is what we would call it. Stage Fright. I found out about this movie. Funny enough, I had not heard about this. And the thing is, I'm a huge fan of Magnet. If you are vaguely familiar with Magnet, they are kind of like A24 before A24. That might be setting the bar really high, but it was like a lot of just odd movies that were really good that just, I guess, didn't quite fit into the mold of more safe studio film. So you got movies like Tucker and Dale versus Evil, God Bless America, Hobo the Shotgun, Monsters, The Host, Rubber, Big Bad Wolves. Oh, that one's rough. John Dies at the End, 13 Assassins, Black Death, VHS. There was also The Perfect Host, The Vanishing on 7th Street. This is just what I'm remembering. But anyways, it doesn't matter. I'm getting a little off, but the point is, this movie should have been on my radar, and especially 2014. That was around the time that I was buying up like almost everything I could from Magnet, but I missed it. And one of my subscribers I was talking to on Instagram had brought it up, and I looked it up because he was saying he was watching Stage Fright, and it was like a musical whodunit slasher. And I'm like, yeah, you talk about the 87 Italian horror movie. And it was like, no, this one's 2014. Pull it up. And then once I saw Magnet, I was like, how much is it? I'll buy it. It was like anywhere in the ballpark of like $7 to like $14. Not that much. And I was like, I'll buy it. Whatever. And then got it like the next day or so. Okay. So this movie's all right. It's not bad. It's definitely for a specific person. I will say this, as someone who spent 2 years in an acting conservatory and another 2 years in an arts university, they do a pretty good job of both being authentic to like what it's like backstage, like what goes on with productions, as well as taking, just exaggerating. What's the word? Lampooning them, satirizing them, mocking them. These characters are turned up to 11 in terms of like theater kids, but the truth is, this is how a lot of people really are. It's cheeky, it's cute. It begins with this woman is in this. Well, first off, this guy is like stabbed, and then this woman finds him, and I guess it's her lover, and he's sitting there dying, and then you're waiting for her to scream, and she starts like no type singing, and you realize, oh, it's a show, it's a play, okay. And so this woman is performing a musical, and her son and daughter, youngsters, are backstage watching her. And this is one of the things I was talking about where I'm like, that's actually pretty accurate. They're standing by the, would it be the stage manager? And the stage manager is doing what they're supposed to do, and they're calling the lights and sound. So, if you don't know, when you go and see a live show, with like, a theater, a play with like the lights are changing, and then the spotlight's coming on, and then, the lights all shift to this, and all of a sudden it's a blackout, and then lights up. That's all cued. I mean, obviously they meticulously build all the stuff, but everything is ordered where it's like, okay, so that's lights 1, lights 2, through the end. And when you're in a big show with a lot of tech, you might have like lights 184, lights 200 and something. Like, I don't know like how heavy some of them can be, because but the ones that I've been involved in that I've done tech on, oh yeah. And if you're the light board operator or if you're a spotlight operator, I've done spotlight before, you got to keep your ear up for that, because the stage manager calls it for you. Like they'll say they'll have you get ready and then they'll call it. And so it's like lights light 64 ready, light 64 go. Light 65 ready, light 65 go. I think it's worded slightly differently, but that is what happens. But this guy is back there doing that, so he's like talking to them like,
look at your mother. She's got great pipes and she's famous. So fierce I'm enchanted. Electrics 130 go. 140 go.
Take what I am.
But anyways, back to this story. So the mom, she's clearly like set to, like, this is a new show, and it seems that she's gonna be a star. She's gonna be, there's talent agents, I think, out in the audience, and this guy who I think is her manager or something, who's played by Meatloaf, he's, talking to her, oh, you're gonna be great. And then the show ends, and the mom is in the dressing room, and the little girl who is gonna be the main character, this girl, she goes out on the stage, and she's kind of just like soaking in the limelight. It's empty, but I think the lights are still on. She's just kind of like having her moment, like, oh, I want to be a star. As she's having this moment, her mom is getting murdered in the dressing room. Someone shows up wearing the mask of the show. It's very Phantom of the Opera-esque, and they kill her. And it's like, funny enough, I talked about this in Psycho 2. She gets stabbed through the mouth, like the blade in her mouth, like coming out the back. Really brutal stuff. And then we jump forward, and the kids, now teenagers, are working as like the cooks at this theater camp, and it's run by the guy who is their mother's manager. Again, I think that's what his role is. Forgive me, and it's just funny because I threw this movie on like 3 or 4 times in the last couple of weeks. But anyways, yeah, so they're calling in all of these, it's camp, so all these buses of kids are coming in, and this is where we get like the first like real musical number.
We're here, we're finally here. The place where we can be ourselves, at least for once a year.
And all the kids are singing about how they're all outcasts and they're all bullied.
I got beaten up a dozen times for singing Stephen Sondheim's rhymes.
Some school bullies sound awfully bad.
What school bullies? That was my dad.
Yeah, really fun stuff. And then there's a part where one guy comes out, he's like,
I'm gay, but not in that way. Musicals move me and touch me in ways. I sleep with women, but musicals make me feel gay.
I'm gay, I'm actually gay. I don't get hard when I see TNA.
that stuff was all really funny. There was a great line in the song about how the grounds are maintained by like angry redneck hillbillies, and you see this guy and it's like he's really suspicious looking, like, okay, so is he supposed to be the main red herring because he's just like, these damn theater kids.
Got the best facilities maintained by local hillbillies who didn't have a choice.
So it goes on, you meet the guy who's the director, and he's very pompous, very full of himself. Can't say I've ever really met someone exactly like that, but, oh, I know they exist. But all the kids who are just, like, super over-the-top excited about everything, oh, 100% I've met those people. Oh, my God. Being in a studio space in, like, acting training, and you're just trying to watch your cohorts, like, do a scene together, and you know, this is all new material to them in terms of like they may have been working with these lines and this character for like maybe a week or two, and maybe they just got off book. Maybe they're still testing things out with the scene. Maybe they've met with their scene partner a few times, but they're still trying to like see how it actually works. They're still trying to find the truth. They're still trying to be comfortable in themselves with the character, with their scene partner. And you're watching this, and you know they're getting hardcore notes. When the conservatory I went to, it is really like they're here to make actors. They're not here to just pass people, which is the difference between the two schools I went to. One was a complete shit show, which is called Cornish, and then the other one was an absolute forge called PCPA. But PCPA, yeah, no, those teachers were absolutely like, we're training you to get hired, and the reality is you're not going to get hired if you're too into this. Like, well, what about my safe space? It's like they will find someone else who's going to do the job if you're going to be complaining. But anyways, so you'd be watching people working, and people would be putting their heart and soul out there. And then, like, you know, the instructor would basically be like, the teacher would be like, no, okay, like, I think you got to work on this, whatever, like, try this, whatever. Okay, go. And you're watching people work, and you're legitimately trying to, like, watch them figure it out. And then you've got people beside you who are just like, it's just like, they literally just said the line differently. Calm the fuck down. Like, I still don't see the truth yet, but maybe that's just because I have a different threshold for what I consider good acting. I don't know. I'm getting off. But anyways, yeah, those types of people that are just, it's musical theater kids. I will be honest. It's musical theater people who are obnoxious. I am not a musical theater person. I am a straight theater person, and that doesn't mean straight as in not gay. That means straight as in like regular theater, dramas, and Shakespeare. So all the kids that are being hammed up in terms of like musical theater kids, it's so true. And then one of the girls is like a costumer, I think, and she's really like alt looking, like piercings, like I think half of her head is shaved, like Skrillex sort of. And I was just like, that's so true. So many of like the costumes and prop people are just kind of this really grungy like alt look, and not all of them, but a good amount of them. And it's just like, I mean, for one thing, they don't have to worry about getting cast. They don't have to worry about their hair looking a certain way. So they're just having fun, as you know, all the time. Anyways, getting off. But yeah, so they're reviving this play. The young director guy says, this is the play they're going to do. They start doing auditions, and the main girl, I forget her name. Camilla goes to audition, but she's technically not supposed to because she's not one of the attendants, or she's not one of the campers. She's a worker. She's a cook. But she's also a soprano. She impresses the director, and so he casts her, but he also casts this other girl. And so now it's kind of like, which of you wants to be working right now? Which of you wants to go up opening night? And he tries to take advantage of both of them every opportunity he can. And so he's really trying to sleep with Camilla. I guess he's already slept with the other girl, I think, but he keeps trying to, like, he'll show up in like the dressing room with like glasses of champagne and trying to romance her, and she's just like, no, can I just go back to my room? And he's just like leaves, and he's basically just like, yeah, I guess you're not going up tonight, sorry. So this is something I do want to point out, because obviously he is a scumbag. Like, obviously he is a scumbag, and you should not be doing this. But the thing that's kind of funny, like also funnier about this, is there's times where she kind of like is playing him a little bit, or she's kind of like acting like, oh yeah, like let's meet up. And it's like, it's not like she's so coy and innocent that she doesn't know what's going on. It's like she's trying to manipulate things, but then she'll back out. It's odd. Again, it's not like she's obligated to do anything, but there's times where I'm watching this where I'm like, no, again, he is an absolute piece of shit. But she is kind of playing a part in this a little bit. And also anything that she does in order to get further ahead, she's doing it in a way that's kind of like cheating, versus the other person who's also working really hard. It's kind of like, well, if I can just like, you know, take my top off and kiss him a little bit, then he's gonna work with me more and whatever. So there's a weird little, I'm not sure if that, it's just a little, it's odd in terms of, be careful with what you're trying to say right there, movie. I don't know. But yeah, as it goes on, people start getting killed. The director at one point gets killed, and the show must go on. Who are the suspicious people? Well, the brother really is against Camilla doing any of this, and he hates theater people because of what happened to his mother, and he's adamantly against her participating. There's the other girl who's cast as the lead, who clearly doesn't like Camilla. There's a little bit of like a Carrie thing going on. And then there's this guy who helped get Camilla in front of the director. She was basically like, could you do me a favor? And he's like, what are you gonna do for me? And she's like, I'll owe you one. And this guy, poor guy, he clearly really likes her, and he's like very like kind of smitten. He's basically becoming obsessed with her. And so he seems suspicious. The random groundskeeper guy, I guess, is suspicious, but I think he's just supposed to be. And then Meatloaf's guy is kind of suspicious. You don't always really know what he's up to. But they're performing the show, people are still getting killed as it's going on, and they're forced to, you know, improvise in order to keep the show going. It's funny. It's not really like super hilarious. Again, depending on who you are, you might enjoy it, you might not. Like I said, I know so many people who I went to acting school with who I could see them enjoying it. And it is a musical, but this is something else I'll say. It could have gone further. It could have leaned in. There's maybe a handful of songs, and then there's even like a song in the scenes before they actually like put it up where it's like everybody finds out that there's a killer, and so all the kids are freaking out and they got to call their parents, and then Meatloaf gives this whole song about how the show must go on, and how if they call their parents then they're gonna pull them out, and everything's gonna fall apart, and this show is why we do it. And then after that, and he gets everybody into sing, and how they're all, you know, back on board, he goes and he like tears the phones apart, where you're like, okay. But yeah, and then the killer, when they sing, it's like hair metal. I don't know. Someone's going to correct me and say, you don't know your metal. And it's like, I don't. He's singing a la metal. And yeah, but who could it be? I won't really actually spoil this one. I'll just let you check it out. But yeah, so there's the back of the box. I'm trying to get it to, come on, lights, work with me here. Yeah, it's fine. I will say this, like I said, I'm not even a musical person, but when I say it could go harder in the musical, it's like there could be way more songs. There could be easily twice as many songs. Some movies do that when they're like, oh, we're like a musical. It's like, well, you barely are filling out an album like for the movie. Anyways, that's fine. It's probably best that way because, like I said, I'm actually not a musical person. But it's fine. I would say the other pseudo Giallo Stage Fright, the other one called Stage Fright, is way better. Way better. I got some people upset when I showed clips of that in one of my older videos, saying like, that's not a Giallo, just so you know. And it's like, it's actually a slasher Giallo hybrid. So calm down. Anyways, this is not. This is not. You could I could see where you could say some things, but I don't think this movie is even trying to be. I'll put it that way. But yeah, that's all I'll say. Check it out if and you want to. So I'll end it there. Have you seen this Stage Fright movie? Is this the first time you're hearing about it? Do you think you might check it out? Do you have any interest in it? What are your thoughts? Let me know. Questions, thoughts, curiosities, or concerns, put it all in the comments. Sorry I talked about some of my personal experiences in arts schools. I just thought it might be a little interesting, even though I did kind of digress a few times. Anyways, yeah, that's all I've got to say. That's it. I wouldn't say this movie is Giallo adjacent, really. This is probably one of the most far off things. I mean, it is a murder mystery still. But like I said, the other Stage Fright is way more of in the conversation of, is this Giallo adjacent? Anyways, yeah, so this is Tanner Leeser for The King and Giallo, and if nothing else, I will see you next time. Take care.
Now, who can tell me what Japanese tradition involves covering your face all in white?
Bukkake.